we have the scripts that we need in order for it to run. And if not, then if you're in Kali Linux, you might notice several of these are not present or not found. You can either try to install them yourself, or you can just run parrot, in which you can see everything is included by default, so we can just breeze through this step. So now you'll notice that my wireless network adapter is not included. So if you're running a virtual machine, especially VirtualBox, you'll need to go to Devices, USB, and then select the correct device. In this case, the Atheros is the chipset on the TP-Link that we'll be using today. And since it doesn't appear now, we'll just press enter, it'll rescan, and boom, we have number 2, WLAN 2. So after we select that, we'll need to put this into monitor mode, which is option 2, and that'll give us the ability to scan for targets. So as soon as this is in monitor mode, we're going to scan the immediate area and come up with a list of targets for us to attack based on which ones actually have people connected to the network. So this falls under option number 5, which is handshake tools menu. And we will put the, actually no, we already did monitor mode, so we'll go to explore for targets, which is option 4, which will open a window and give us a list of all the available wireless networks in the area. So we should pay particular attention to the data column, because that will be where we see people actually using these networks. It'll be evidence of people downloading stuff or streaming things, and that'll mean that there's somebody attached to the network, and this is a good network for us to attack. And we should leave this running in general for about 20 to 30 seconds in order to generate a good representation of what's in the area, and also so we don't miss anything that might be broadcasting packets a little bit less frequently. So at this point, we've let it run for about 30 seconds, and we have a number of candidates. So by pressing Control-C, Ergeddon will give us a list of all the different networks that have people connected. In this case, we only have one, which is our test network. So we'll select option 3 to take all the information from it and put it into our attack formula. So at this point, we've copied the BSSID, the channel, the ESSID, and the type of encryption. And we're going to, at this point, move on to option number 5, which is capture the handshake. So we have 3 different options, 3 different attacks, and different ones will work differently on different networks. I generally recommend starting at 1 and just going right through, because 1 tends to work the most frequently against the most networks. So we're going to attempt this, which will use our wireless network card to send out deauthentication packets, which will attempt to temporarily kick off any clients that are connected to this network. Now, this is one of the points I should note. If you do not have permission to do this against the network, this is the point where you would cross the line to doing something illegal. So as soon as you start kicking people off their network, you're actually committing a denial of service attack, even though it is a very small one. So it's important to note that these techniques are powerful and should not be used against basically any network you don't have permission to use. So with permission to use this network, we will select option 1. And by pressing enter, you'll see an attack window open on the left side, and we'll look for a WPA handshake. Boom, right there. So that took us 6 seconds. We'll press Y for yes when it asks us if we got the handshake. And congratulations, we got the handshake. We'll now save it to our special file. So in order to get that, I'll just copy a file in there to get the file path. And in this case, I'm going to name it 1 o'clock demo.cap. Boom, saved it. And there we go. So I've already demonstrated at this point, we can go home. There's no reason for us to stick around and be conspicuous. We can actually take this, go home, connect it to our supercomputer or better gaming computer, and utilize its GPU in order to actually crack this password very, very quickly. Now the key to that is having a good password list. And you might have noticed the RockU password list here. But because it's so large, I'm going to use a condensed password list that only has a couple thousand in order to demonstrate how quickly you can churn through thousands of passwords in order to guess a relatively weak one. So now, let's change menus and go to number 7 to go to the main menu, and then select option 6 for the offline WPA/WPA2 decrypt menu. So once we're in this tool, we'll select option 1 to begin an aircrackng dictionary attack. We'll automatically have selected the capture that we just had, but if we wanted to get a different one, we could just drag and drop it after pressing N in order to select a new one. So we're going to confirm the BSSID, and then we're going to enter the path of a dictionary file. Now I'm going to use goodguess.txt, which is a password file that has a couple thousand passwords in it, but you can use one that you find. I particularly recommend the RockU one to begin with. So as soon as I press enter, it's going to launch a window that's going to begin to attempt to crack the password by trying a whole bunch of stuff